What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Today I wanted to continue our conversation about Bally's contributions and innovations during the EM Flipper era. And today I wanted to talk about Multiball. Multiball existed in the 1930s, but was one of the innovations that was lost to the dark ages of World War II. After the war, no one was really messing with Multiball except for Bally. Bally's first attempt at Multiball was really something fantastic. Balls-a-Poppin came out in 1956. At that time, the game had 2 flippers, 4 pop bumpers, 2 passive bumpers, 4 slings, and a kick-out hole. Now, what made this fascinating, besides having all those playfield features, was the ability to stack your multi-ball before releasing it. You could have a single additional ball or up to 8 additional balls for a total of 9 on the playfield. You do this by simply rolling over some rollover buttons, and each one ticks up a number on a score reel, which is located in the back glass. When you hit the kick-out hole, all the wild balls fire. It's pretty crazy. Now, I've never played a real one, but I have played it virtually, and the game looks like it would be a huge ton of fun. It's really quite surprising to me that Bally didn't revisit this idea for many years. But right after Balls-a-Poppin came out, there was essentially a sister game called Circus. Circus came out the very next year and had essentially the same layout. However, instead of having the counter appear in the back box, it actually shows on the playfield with inserts, which makes keeping track of that while you're playing the game quite a bit easier. This variable multi-ball is something which, of course, is quite popular today in games like Mustang from Stern. But back then, it was pretty darn novel, and it still is today. There's only a handful of games that allow you to stack balls at will like that. Bally left that feature alone from 1957 until 1963. Ted Zale, the designer who took an awful lot of risks and made some very unique designs in the 60s, 70s, designed a game called Starjet in 1963. This was the first game to feature a 3-ball multi-ball. Ted Zale was a big fan of multi-ball and revisited that feature many times throughout his career as a designer. In fact, one of my new favorite games is Mad World. I just was lucky enough to get the chance to play one of those a few weeks ago, and I've got to say that the layout is really cool and different, and the way multi-ball is triggered is really neat. But I'll save that for an in-depth Mad World podcast. Capersville, The Wiggler, 4 Million BC, Fireball, and Nip It. These are all EM Bally's that had the multi-ball feature, aside from the ones that I've already mentioned. I enjoy multi-ball quite a bit. The challenge of getting the balls where you need them to be in order to start the multi-ball is half of the fun. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you again for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the bingo line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at nbaldridge, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.